But first, we go to Bloomberg's Greg Miles at CBS TV operations at Studio City in Los Angeles for an exclusive interview with CBS CEO Leslie Moonves. Greg?
Hi, Mark. That's right. I'm here with CEO Leslie Moonves on the set of CSI New York, the most successful program ever for CBS and among the most successful ever on television. Leslie Moonves now pays for all this stuff. Now, in his 4 years as CEO, he has dramatically increased investment in programming. One reason the company's viewership is the highest in the 6 of the past 7 years among all networks. He's also expanded into the internet and also into filmmaking. They are the #1 big media stock in terms of performance thus far this year, up 54%, triple the pace of the S&P 500. Leslie, welcome.
Thanks, Greg. Good to be with you.
First of all, congratulations on your rash of Emmy Awards, either 8 or 9. I've lost count.
Something like that. It was a good night. It was a good night for television.
Let's talk about this. One of your new programs is going to premiere actually tomorrow night is NCIS Los Angeles, co-starring LL Cool J, the rapper. By the way, I know that you've done a number of cameos over the past few years. Are we going to see you hanging out with LL Cool J sometime?
I love hanging out. He's the coolest guy in America, and it's good for my image to hang out with someone like that.
And you said, by the way, the initial pilot you did with him, I think in another program, was terrible, but he was great, and you decided to take him. Talk about that.
That's exactly right. When you're dealing with talent, you obviously have a body of experience with them. LL Cool J was somebody we had to deal with. We put him in a pilot. The pilot turned out to be mediocre, but he was sensational. We almost put the show on, despite it being a bad pilot, just to have him on the air. We kept him under contract, and when we talked about doing a spin-off of NCIS, we said, how about taking this terrific guy and putting him there, and there we are.
You know, and many analysts say that a major challenge of viewers is to attract younger viewers in the 18 to 49 category. They've got too many viewers age 60 and over. Does NCIS Los Angeles help you do that?
Well, there's no question. As you mentioned, 6 of the last 7 years, we've been #1 in total viewers. We're #2 in 18 to 49, outside of Fox, with obviously the American Idol, dynasty that's going on over there. But we have been getting younger over the last number of years, and a guy like LL Cool J will only continue to help us get younger.
Let's talk about another show. It's called Accidentally on Purpose. It's got an unusual plot about a woman who had a one-night stand with a younger man. She gets pregnant. She decides to have the baby, and the younger man decides to hang out to help her raise the kid, but he also hangs out with his younger guys.
Right.
Now, this sounds like it's for a much younger audience. If I was an older CBS viewer or a Republican, I'd be writing a lot of letters to Les Moonves.
Well, #1, it fits in with our Monday night schedule with shows like How I Met Your Mother and 2.5 Men and Big Bang Theory. So we have 3/4 of the pie of the #1 night in television in comedy. So we think Accidentally on Purpose can fit absolutely there, and, we welcome Republicans and Democrats to watch.
Okay, yeah. How is your audience mix going to change? Talk about, 18 to 49, a coveted area, okay? And then the over 60 crowd. How big is the mix going to change, let's say 5 years from now, 18 to 49?
No, you know what? We think 18 to 49, just taken all by itself, is overrated. We are the big tent network. We like 18-year-olds. We like 65-year-olds. We sell to all of them.
That sounds very democratic. The big
60 Minutes is a big, big hit. Last year, in its 42nd year, it finished in the top 15 shows in America. Its average age is over 60. We make a nice profit on that show, selling to different advertisers. So anybody who says 18 to 49 is the only thing that matters is not right.
Now, I know you'd like to welcome some viewers from and advertisers from Jay Leno, or from that slot when Jay Leno comes on. He's already come on and has his comedy hour. What kind of an opportunity does that provide for you? Because it's going to cost Leno a lot in terms of programming to produce that show, but also it will free up advertisers and potential viewers.
Look, NBC went a very different way at 10 o'clock. They went for lower cost programming with Jay Leno, a big talent, to go at 10 o'clock 5 nights a week. We have had dramas on at 10 o'clock. We've done extraordinarily well. I think last year we won 4 out of the 5 10 o'clock time slots, which we think are really important to us. We get additional revenue from those shows in syndication, et cetera. They also are good lead-ins for our local news. So NBC decided to go a different way. We think we have great opportunity at 10 o'clock to get our dramas more viewing.
Okay, so basically you got the low cost reality TV shows. You got the low cost comedy shows coming on now with Jay Leno. You're the very, very expensive dramas. You think the dramas are going to win this battle, huh?
Well, All I can tell you is the CSI franchise, those three CSI shows, have brought us over $2 billion worth of revenue. So they're big bets, but they have paid off big time. Same thing with the NCIS. People say the shows are expensive, but you spend money, you make more money.
You know, all this aimed, or a lot of it aimed at getting advertising. About 70% of your revenues at CBS are roughly around that.
65.
Okay, 65%. Okay, we'll take 65%, two-thirds. You are trying to boost auto, financial, real estate, and other ads right now as the economy recovers. Are all these sectors going to come back?
Well, you know what? We've seen some very encouraging signs from the automobile sector. Now, in our local businesses, which is TV stations and radio stations, automotive is extremely important, probably the #1 sector. So when you see General Motors getting back in a big way, which they've announced.
Toyota, too.
Toyota as well. That's great news for us. We are so excited by these programs that these companies have to make a comeback, and we think it'll affect the entire CBS corporation in an extremely positive way.
Now, are these one-time gains, or do you think this is sustainable? Do you think auto ads are going to come back completely? A lot of people say classified, auto, real estate, which has gone to the internet, it ain't coming back to its old levels.
No, we disagree with that. We think when you see a General Motors that's trying to reinvent themselves, spending the kind of money that they're spending now, which we think is terrific, and they're reestablishing their brands, and we think the automobile sector is going to come back in spades. And frankly, one of the reasons we're excited about the future and one of the reasons we think our stock has performed so well is because we're tied to an increase in advertising. And when you see what's happening with some of these major brands, we're viewing it as a very positive sign for us.
Let's talk about your fourth quarter strategy. We're not talking about football, but you sold about 65% of your total space in the so-called upfront market, in which advertisers buy big blocks with a kind of long-term for the next season.
Correct.
And you're going to try to sell about 35% in the so-called scatter or short-term market in the third and fourth quarter.
Right.
A lot of people are concerned that, you know, when you did that in the last recession, it worked. You were the only guys in town doing it. But now everybody's doing it. Aren't we going to see just excess capacity and prices are just going to get hammered?
You know what? That would be one theory. But when you look at the third quarter scatter marketplace, there is a huge demand for our product. So our third quarter year to year is up about 30%. From a year ago. So the idea that we sold less inventory in the upfront marketplace actually looks very good for us, because we think, like we've done in the past, the shows are going to be rated very well, and there's going to be a great deal of demand during the year for our advertising, and we think it'll be absolutely a net positive. It is very similar to the 01-02 season, where a similar thing happened, where we held back inventory, and during the scatter, the pricing was higher. We think that's going to happen this year, and it's going to end up being very beneficial.
We got about 25 seconds to break. So you think this will also hold up into the fourth quarter or even into the first quarter, this scatter strength?
Absolutely right. Absolutely right.
What if the economy pulls back? The economy pulls back, financial problems, won't that pull back as well?
You know what? We're not seeing that. We're seeing in every single one of the categories, their pacing is improving. So despite what may be some signs out there, we are seeing an improvement in our key categories, and we're very optimistic that the fourth quarter and the first quarter scatter is going to be higher than the upfront numbers.
Okay, Leslie, we're going to take a break, and got to pay the bills, with advertisements. I'm sure you understand that.
Go for it.
That's right. We got Leslie Moonves, the CEO of CBS, talking about the outlook for his new fall program, also about the outlook for viewership. Next break, he's going to talk about acquisitions, the outlook for his share price, about CNET, that internet acquisition, which some people have been talking about on Wall Street. Don't go away.